right, welcome back in for another Victory Monday episode as the Philadelphia Eagles defeated the Cincinnati Bengals 37-13 yesterday. And I got to be honest, this win felt very, very good because, I put out a couple videos on the channel last week and I talked about how good I thought the defense was performing, and that video did very well. And a lot of the comments were, yeah, but Dylan, this is just against the Browns with Deshaun Watson and the Giants. How much stake can we really put in this? And I said, listen, it's about what I'm seeing. This defense is dominating those teams. We're not just skating by. And again, I think a lot of people looked at the box score of the Browns game, 20-16, and didn't quite really see how much Philly actually controlled that game. They didn't give up an offensive touchdown. And in this game, Cincinnati has a hell of a first drive. I mean, it's like a 10-minute scoring drive. It ends with Jamar Chase somehow matched up on Nolan Smith and getting a touchdown. And, I started to go, was I wrong? Because I don't think I was wrong about this defense. And it turns out, no, I wasn't, because after that drive, the Eagles gave up only 10 points to the Bengals the rest of the day. An absolutely dominant game. This is a defense that I wanted to see get more turnovers. They responded. They got more turnovers. They were really, really solid. Quinyon Mitchell had another lockdown day. And I get it from the Bengals perspective of game planning, especially with T. Higgins out, but they were moving Jamar Chase away from Quinyon Mitchell every single opportunity that they got. Cooper DeJean almost had that pick there in the first half. I thought he was going to rip that one. We saw Darius Slay get hurt. Isaiah Rodgers comes in. He goes stride for stride with Jamar Chase. He bats the ball up. CJ Gardner-Johnson with the interception. Hell of a play there from the defense. I really liked the Zach Bond when he forced a fumble. The defense has just been absolutely rolling. The sack numbers not really completely there. One sack today. It was Nolan Smith and Milton Williams combined to get that sack. So I still think Philly should target a pass rusher at the deadline. That is still where I'm leaning that this team should go. I've heard the rumors of Max Crosby and Myles Garrett. I don't think they're really available, but even if you go grab a Zadarius Smith from the Browns, I'm cool with that. I'll make a video later this week around some trade targets for Philly, but ultimately, I do really like the way that the defense performed, for sure. And while I start off with that, I do think that the offense is the bigger story. I kind of buried the lead a little bit. Apologies, but man, what can you say? 2022 Jalen Hurts is freaking back, man. This is the quarterback that led us on that Super Bowl run. 16-20 passing, 236 passing yards, a touchdown. He had the 10 rushes for 37 yards, the 3 touchdowns. Obviously, a lot of that coming on the back of the brotherly shove. What do you have? A 132.5 passer rating in this game, a 95.6 QBR. Listen, this is the perfect Philadelphia Eagles offense. I cannot stress this enough. When you bring in the luxury back of Saquon Barkley, yes, that of course is going to take some of the load off your quarterback. So no, Jalen Hurts doesn't have to throw it the 37 times that Joe Burrow did in this game. Jalen Hurts only has to throw it 20 times. Why? Because they're more impactful plays when he throws it. Saquon Barkley, grind us down the field. I wish you would have scored, Jalen taking all 3 touchdowns. I'd be, come on now. But Saquon, such a selfless guy. I'm sure he doesn't care. The win is the win. Devonta Smith on that deep touchdown. That was giving me 2022 Eagles vibes. Jalen Hurts stops back in the pocket. Boom. Beautiful breadbasket. Smitty with the snag. That was the singular moment that I was like, oh, we got a real team. We got a real contending team. That's how I felt, because when you look around the rest of the NFC and you see the 49ers at 500 struggling, Dallas below 500 playing some bad football, Green Bay coming down to the last second with the Jaguars, and we already beat them this year. The Vikings losing 2 in a row and losing their star tackle, Christian Darrisaw, for the rest of the season. The NFC South is a little bit wonky, a little bit of a mess, and I feel like if we had A.J. Brown for those games, especially the one against Atlanta, we win. Tampa Bay's without their wide receivers now. Chris Godwin won't be back for the rest of the year. I love Jaden. I think he's a great player. Rookie quarterback. How often do we see those guys go far in the playoffs? it feels like it is the Eagles and the Lions at the top of the NFC. And maybe I'm crazy, maybe I'm hyped up off the win, but that is where I'm at right now. That's where I'm at following this game. Just to continue on with Jalen Hurts, the throws were on point, accurate, and it was at all three levels. I liked the offensive scheme in this one. They didn't score in the first quarter, which I saw people on Twitter kind of making it a point, and I get it because the Eagles haven't scored in the first quarter all year. That is a worrying stat, but in this particular game in the vacuum, they led up a 10-minute and 30-second drive to open the game. They scored on their first drive. Their first drive just didn't end until the second quarter. So, a little bit of fool's gold when it comes to, yeah, but you got to worry about this team not scoring again in the first quarter. I agree that they should, but I don't think in this particular game it was worrisome. The team still put up 37 points in 3 other quarters, right? Like, it's not like this team has an inept offense that can't produce. It's just in this particular game, Cincinnati got the ball first and kind of dog walked us down the field on that opening drive. After that, the defense cleaned it up, but that was the case here. For the Eagles as well, I thought Jalen Hurts' rushing ability. I know the numbers aren't going to look great because of the 10 for 37 because of the brotherly shoves, but when he was escaping and actually running, I thought he looked as healthy as he's ever looked. Last year, I think a lot of us Eagles fans, realized there was something wrong with him. He was kind of looking like he had a stick. You know what I'm saying there. And he kind of looked that way a little bit in the beginning of this season too. But post bye week, he's been running like Jalen Hurts of old. Like, he is really extending plays and making plays on the ground. Jalen Hurts, I think the perfect comp for him is a more mobile and strong prime Russell Wilson. And I know a lot of people aren't going to like that because you think of Russ how you think of him now, but Russ was getting to Super Bowls with great rosters around him. I don't think Jalen Hurts is quite the tier that Patrick Mahomes is, but I think he has the ability on any given day to play to that level with the team around him. Back in the Super Bowl when the Eagles played the Chiefs, I thought Jalen Hurts, dueled with Mahomes, with the best of them. I thought yesterday, Joe Burrow, a consensus top 5 quarterback, Jalen Hurts outplayed him. And I get it, Jalen Hurts had much more at his disposal than Joe Burrow did, but, the teams are the teams. It's not like they're going to swap halfway through the year. We're going to get to see what Joe Burrow and Jalen Hurts are made of on other sides. Like, Jalen Hurts is going to get to continue to outplay some of these good quarterbacks because the Eagles as an organization have set up a better roster. And that's just the truth of the matter. I feel really, really good about where the Eagles are at. I feel really, really good about where Jalen Hurts is at in the last 3 weeks. 9 touchdowns, 0 turnovers. Really had to cut down on those. Glad that he did it. Saquon Barkley, another 100-yard rushing day. It can't go understated how important he is for this offense because, I've talked about this at length on my NFL channel, but I'll talk about it here. The problem with the Cowboys, right? They're one-dimensional. That they're having to pass the ball. Last night in that overtime, or not in that, in the fourth quarter of that game, where they're down 30-24, trying to get down the field, they get the ball with 3 minutes to go, and they pass it 4 straight times, and it's a 4-and-out effectively. They couldn't run the ball because they can't run the ball. The Eagles can run the ball on any down. The Eagles could pass the ball on any down. And having that unpredictability as an offense is really, really big in today's NFL. Saquon Barkley really hammers that home for Philly. Devonta Smith and A.J. Brown, 2 really stud wide receivers. It's great to have one. It's even better to have 2. Dallas Goedert will be coming back for this team. Jahan Dotson, kind of a bit of a miss. But the wide receiver 3 for this team just isn't really utilized. And, that's cool. Kyle Quintero doing a great job filling in for Dallas Goedert. But overall, on this Victory Monday, I don't know how you don't feel great as an Eagles fan. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. And if you made it this far in the video as well, let me know some trade deadline targets you want to see for the Eagles. We'll be making a video about that this week. Fly, Eagles, fly. I appreciate y'all. Hit that subscribe button. Hit the like button. I'll catch you next time. Peace.